Saturday morning, got some work to do. Let's go get it. Yikes. Snow's brushed off. Now we wait for the heater to warm up and defrost the windshield. Love it. This is my view on my way to work every morning. Pikes Peak, gotta love it. Right down the road. Let's get to work. Gotta get some of the new Cherry Sakura. Red Bull. Start the morning. Gotta love it. There's already cars here waiting on me. Let's get inside and I'll show you guys what we're working on. What is up, dudes? Welcome back to the channel. We have a kind of a little bit of work to do today. It's a Saturday, just another day in the life of a shop owner. So I figured I'd bring you guys along. Today we've got a car in that I did head gaskets on. It's a 2009 Subaru Impreza. I did head gaskets on it. Unfortunately, it had a few other problems other than the head gaskets. When we first started diagnosing it, I gave the customer basically a down and dirty price for getting the head gaskets repaired, and we thought we were going to be able to not worry about the other issues that it was having, but unfortunately it's having those issues again after the repair and a little bit worse now. So we're trying to figure out the best way to deal with that to try and help him and help his pockets. I will take you guys to the car here in a minute just to show you guys kind of everything that's going on with it, and I'll talk to you about what's going on. But just figured I'd bring you guys along for the day. It's just another day. Today's Saturday. It's just another day in the life of me, a mechanic shop, auto shop, repair shop owner. So if you guys are interested in content like this, I think we're going to be doing a lot of stuff like this from here on out here in the shop. Kind of just taking you with me throughout the day of cars that I see, cars that I fix, crazy problems that we see here at the shop, crazy customers that we deal with. Luckily, a lot of my customers are really good, but if you guys are interested in seeing content like this, definitely leave a like, subscribe to the channel. There will be more. So let's go ahead and get into the day. All right, guys, so I just called the customer, made sure we're on the same page. After doing the head gasket repair, it seems like there are issues that are persisting that were present before the head gasket repair that we didn't really touch on because of trying to help him save some money. Seems like those problems are worse now, so we're going to try and diagnose them. He's okay with go ahead and paying for the labor to diagnose. So we've got the scanner hooked up. I need to go in here get codes read really quick just to make sure we're on the same page. So I'm gonna get codes read, and then I will come back to you guys, tell you guys what codes we have, how I plan on diagnosing it, and a couple other things. I am currently letting the car run. I'm letting the car run so that we can get it up to operating temperature, get it in closed loop. I can read some live data and do a couple other tests for a catalytic converter code. So we're gonna let it run, read codes, and then go from there. Just in case you guys haven't seen my video on this, this is the Topdon ArtaDiag Pro. I think for the price, you can buy it on Amazon for a little less than $400, but I think for the price, this is a really good scanner. A couple of times I've had some things that it can't really do, but it can read live data. It's bidirectional. Usually it's really good about reading all the codes on a vehicle, resetting them, pretty much everything you would need to do for modern-ish cars. You can reset parking brakes to do brakes in the rear, stuff like that. So this is a really good scanner. If you guys want to learn more on this, let me know. I'll make another video or put it in the comments or the description or whatever, but let me know on this guy. Okay, codes are read. We have a catalytic system efficiency code, below threshold bank 1, cylinder 3 and 4 misfire. We have those twice, so probably one pending and one confirmed. And then we have intake valve control solenoid circuit range performance bank 1 and bank 2. And this is telling me that the variable valve timing solenoids are having issues, probably getting stuck or seized up, either due to low oil, dirty oil, clogged filters, low oil pressure, a couple things like that can cause it. However, in our case, we know that most of those things have already been replaced. When I did the head gaskets, I pulled the filters out of the blocks, so the filter shouldn't be an issue. We know that the oil is clean because I changed the oil in the filter when I did the rebuild. Pretty much did a whole flush on that. And then, so really the only thing left that would be common between the two of them, unless both of them failed or got sludged up, would be oil pressure. What I'm gonna do now is come over here, and below the alternator is the oil pressure switch. I can hook up a manual oil pressure gauge and confirm that we have good oil pressure throughout the whole engine. And then we will probably jump to replacing the actual solenoids themselves. So let's turn the car off, get the alternator off, get that manual pressure gauge hooked up, and we'll see what we find. We've got the oil pressure gauge, the 100 PSI one, hooked up directly to the oil port right there, where the oil sending unit goes. We're going to hold it right here. I disconnected the crank position sensor so the car will not start. If the car starts, it wouldn't really be an issue, but we're gonna crank it a few times. That's not good. Let's hook the crank position sensor back up and see if it starts and see if it has better oil pressure while running. Okay, oil pressure, when I started, it jumped up to 40. Now bled back down to 30. So I guess let's try and find specifications for what the engine should be at, and we'll see if this is good or bad. It really doesn't help that I've been kind of out of the shop most of this week, and we brought my computer, my laptop home for Luna to do some, like a project she was working on, and my dumbass today forgot to bring the laptop back to the shop. So I don't have any of my repair software or anything like that, so I'm gonna have to rely on Google a little bit for specifications for what I'm looking for. But I've used it before. It's not the end of the world. So let's see what we can find. Okay, according to specifications, the oil pressure is good. It should be about 10 PSI for every 1,000 RPM. You guys saw it was about 30 PSI while we were idling at about 1,000 RPM. So that, I mean, that's perfectly adequate. I started it again, gave it a little gas, got the RPMs up to about 2,000, and oil pressure went up to about 50 to 60 PSI, or about 50 PSI, which is perfectly normal within specifications. So that's telling me that our oil pressure is good. So next, what we're gonna do, I guess, is try and watch live data. I'm going to see if I can watch the actual versus commanded variable valve timing, or valve timing in degrees. I'm not very confident that I'm going to be able to watch that PID on this Subaru, just because I'm not sure if the ECU is that advanced. But if we can, I will show you guys. And if we cannot, then the next step after that will be pulling one of the solenoids to see if it's just extremely gunked up or stuck. We can try and actuate it with the power probe, and I'll show you guys that too. But I mean, really, this is just what I deal with. Just diagnosing one little step at a time, doing process of elimination. If I'm going too much in depth in this video, let me know. I kind of get carried away. I like to show you guys every little thing that I'm doing, but this is a day in the life, so maybe I'll kind of just make it more of a general video, a broad video for you guys to watch. But let's keep diagnosing the car. Customer pretty much already approved everything, so we'll see what we find and go from there. All right. Not sure where we left off. I had to go to my best friend's baby shower, but we got the solenoids out, both of them, and we tested with power. You can do this while the solenoid's in the car, but I wanted to visually inspect them. I tested for power and everything. Solenoids move. Now we're going to be testing the oil pressure switches, which are these guys back here. So I've finally, when I came back from my friend's baby shower, I got my laptop, run all data, looking up diagnostic procedures, and it's giving me a little bit more information. So we have a place to start, or at least a place to continue from. So I'm gonna put these solenoids back in. We're gonna test those pressure switches and go from there. I'm really hoping to have this car figured out by the end of the day, for many reasons. I'm sure you guys understand that. But let's continue diagnostic. Like I said, I'm not gonna walk you guys through every step of diagnosing this car, because that's not what this video is about. This is just a day in my life. So now that we're back at it, let's continue diagnostic, and hopefully we find something pretty quick and easy. Well, guys, here's the hard part of today, and owning a repair shop, being human, making mistakes, doing things in the wrong order, just sometimes things happen. To inform you guys of what we found, I took my mechanical oil pressure gauge I tested oil pressure at the head where the VVT solenoid is and the VVT oil pressure switch is. I tested it on bank 1 over here, bank 1 and bank 2, and I have 0 PSI at idle. You guys saw earlier I had good PSI from the port under the alternator, which is directly a direct galley of the oil pump. So we know we have good pressure there, but for some reason we're not getting oil pressure to the extremities. Now, the reason I say that's the sucky part is because I should have diagnosed this first, because now it's possible that this engine isn't healthy. A main cause of not having oil pressure to your extremities would be overly worn crank rod main bearings or overly worn cam journals. I mean, I had the guy put a couple $1,000s into repairing the head gasket and rebuilding all of that just for us to get to this point and have it be a possibility that the engine isn't healthy, and we might have put all that money into it for almost no reason. So now I'm at a moral dilemma of, do I pay to rebuild the engine, or you know, what do I do? What do I do from here without losing my ass? Because I'm still a small business. The money that he paid me for this job has pretty much already gone to all the bills to keep this shop open. So it's not like I have the money laying around, no matter what the situation is, to just buy him a new engine or rebuild the engine. So we're kind of at a moral dilemma, and that's what sucks about owning a shop, because sometimes things like this happen. And yeah, I should have diagnosed this issue first. And I don't know why I didn't. So roast me in the comments, I guess. But here we are. I plan to call the machine shop on Monday when they reopen and kind of go over with them our options or possibilities of what could have happened or why we're not getting oil pressure there. Maybe they can help me answer it a little bit better and give me a better direction on where to go. But for now, that's where we're at with this car. It's going to be the end of the day. I'm going to call the customer, let them know the bad news, or I'm going to let them know, you know, the status of everything, where we're at, what I found. And he's a really understanding guy, so I'm not really too concerned about that, but I just don't know where to go from here. I'll let him know where we stand, but that's about all I can do for right now. If I get into anything else today, I will definitely show you guys, but I think that's going to do it. Today was a really simple, short day, which was kind of good because I don't want to overwhelm myself with trying to film everything in the shop, and I don't want to overwhelm you guys with too much bull crap going on and just a jumble crap of a video. So let me know what you guys think of this kind of content. Like I said, I'll be doing a lot more of this in the shop. I'll be bringing you guys along with me for daily repairs, hopefully find some crazy stories to show you guys, but there will be more of this content on the channel, so I hope you guys like it. Any constructive criticism always helps. I really appreciate you guys watching, and I guess we'll see you in the next one, and I'll let you know how this one goes. Peace.